some of the primary struggles and difficulties that I think teenagers across the board are going through today is, I think that as Jewish educators today, we have a responsibility to define what is of value and what is not. And I think that there's so much that is accessible through the internet that skews what is valuable and what is not. And I think that a primary responsibility for an educator today, and for a Jewish educator, is to a primary responsibility of a Jewish educator today is to show that the value of Judaism, to show that Judaism is something that can be enjoyable, something that is alive, something that is real. And I think that that's something that is easy to overlook and to kind of assume that the child already understands that. But I found educating boys, teenage boys in several schools, that wasn't something that was understood. That there was a huge value put on earning a living, on social media, on sports, on movies, but none of them really understood why davening is important, why a relationship with God is important, why raising a Jewish family is important. And I think that that's really the primary job of a Jewish educator today, is really to use the tools of the Torah to teach that message. And then I think that for educators in any school, the idea that teenagers have an access to a world that as adults we don't really understand. And I think even having a smartphone and having a laptop and having a computer doesn't really provide the access, it doesn't really provide an understanding of what teenagers perceive the world is and what teenagers have access to. And it's, almost an education for me as an educator to talk to my boys about what they can do on their smartphones that I would never think of. And I think understanding the dangers of that and understanding the possible opportunities that can represent and understanding that that's what they're going through. For me, one of the struggles I've had even this year was understanding that my classes probably won't be more entertaining than a video game, and realizing that that's almost what I have to do as an educator, is make a class that's as fun as Grand Theft Auto is a struggle, and is something that I think is important to identify and to realize and then to confront. And then of course social media can be a terribly dangerous place and a terribly damaging place for especially teenagers, but for anybody. And I think that a huge part of an educator's role is teaching that, and is teaching that a teenager has in their pocket a wonderful tool that can also be far more dangerous than anything that I can imagine they would have access to. And that my goal and my responsibility as an educator is to convey that, and is to provide them with appropriate and practical tools to use their technology in a healthy way.